Hello, my name is Kindson the Genius, and today we are going to continue with tutorial 4 of AngularJS for beginners. In the last tutorial, we discussed how to create your first application, and you actually built an application in AngularJS, and that is exactly how it works. So today we are going to look at the two basic things in AngularJS modules and controllers. So in this lesson, we are going to cover what actually is a module and how to create a module, what is a controller, how to create a controller, and then how to register a module with a controller. I want you to clearly keep in mind that in writing AngularJS application or website, you need to do just 3 basic things and then you are good to go. Step 1, create a module. Step 2, create a controller. And step 3, register a module with a controller. These things you are going to do in a JavaScript file or in a JS file. So let's start and create a brand new application using AngularJS and using these 3 steps. So, but before I do that, let me just tell you what a module is, what a controller is, and how to register a module with a controller. Alright, a module in AngularJS is a container that holds various parts of the AngularJS application. So a module is maybe just like the main entry point to your AngularJS program. It specifies how the AngularJS application starts and how it runs. So the first thing you are going to create is an AngularJS module. We are going to see how it works when we start working on it. How do you create a module? Remember, it's a model, not a model. How do you create a model? You use this one line of statement here. It says variable first app equal to angular.module first app, and then you have an empty array. So in creating a model, you give it a name and use the model method in AngularJS and give it a name, right? This is the name of the model, and this is a list of dependencies. Dependencies are like functions or methods that your module or application depends on. In this case, it doesn't depend on anything. So this actually will be the first line of your script file that you are going to create. So after doing this, you now create a controller. But first, what is a controller? A controller is an AngularJS function that controls communication between the application logic and the view. So basically, a controller will manage how data flows between your script and the HTML view that the user sees. So if you are going to fetch a data from some data from database, a controller will manage retrieving this data from a database, be it MongoDB, be it PostgreSQL, or whatever database you are going to use, and then displaying this database to a HTML page. This is managed by a controller, and just know that a controller is simply a function. After creating a module and a controller, then you need to register the controller with the module. So meanwhile, this is how to create a controller in AngularJS. Remember, it's simply a function. You declare the variable, the name of the controller, equal to function, scope, and then you have expressions. Actually, this actually is an expression inside this function. So let me explain. So this is actually a controller function, and whatever you are going to write comes inside this controller function as the body of the function. So whatever is in the body of the controller is what manages your application. And of course, everything you are going to write, all the scripts, has to come in between inside the controller function. So after creating a controller, the next thing you are going to do, the next thing you are going to do is to register the module or the controller with the module. Okay, so to do that, you simply use the method .controller. So you say module.controller this is the name of the controller, and this is the name of the controller function, right? So I've made it clear here. So if you want, please download this tutorial, this PowerPoint presentation for free. Is available on this link. So if you go to this page, I put it in the description box, so you can easily come here and you see all the video lessons and you see all the PowerPoint presentations. You can just download and use it for free. So let's go create a brand new application, create a model, create a controller, and register the tool. Right, so I've opened the folder we are working on, and I'm going to create a new notepad file. So remember, we are using Notepad++, so if you've not downloaded it, you can just download it. So we are starting completely a brand new file. So one thing you can do is to open the folder that contains your files in Notepad++. To do that, click on File and just say Open Folder as Workspace. If you say Open Folder as Workspace, you can just select the folder that contains your files. So in my case, my files are contained, I think, in tutorials. Let me check. It's in desktop. It's in the desktop. I called it my lesson. So I'm going to navigate to where this folder is on the desktop, and then I can just open it. So desktop, my lessons, and then open. So if you do this, you'll be able to see all your files on this side. Alright, so just go ahead to click on File and say New. It opens a new file. So remember, the first step we said to do is to create a model. To create a model, you simply say the model name equal to Angular.model. So in this case, we are going to call this model tutorial 4 because this is tutorial 4 we are working with right now. So and this is the list of dependencies. It doesn't depend on anything. So now we've done the first part, remember, is to create a model. So this is an AngularJS model, and now I'm going to save this file as lesson 4 because we already have lesson 2 and 3. If you've not done lesson 2 and 3, please go and do them, and you can easily download all the PowerPoint presentations. So let me call it lesson 4. If you save it as JavaScript, you'll see the magic that happens. It will recognize the file as JavaScript. So look for JavaScript. JavaScript should be here, .js. So save it, lesson4.js. So now it recognizes it as AngularJS, and these colors here is called syntax coloration. So if you use the right editor, like we are using Notepad++, you have syntax coloration for free. So after creating a model, step 2, maybe you can just keep the steps open here. We now create a controller, and we say that a controller is simply a function. So to create a controller, simply say controller name is equal to function controller is equal to okay, so basically you create a controller, and at the same time you register it with the model. So you simply say model name dot controller name is equal to the controller name. You give it a name, my controller, and then the name of the controller function. So in these two lines, I've created both a model and a controller, right? So what next do? I can actually start writing. So remember, a controller is simply a function. So this line here actually registers the model with the controller. So we actually did the step 3. So to create the controller now, we can just say function my controller, or we can say my controller equal to function okay, so in brackets, so close and then close. Alright, so this is a controller function that we've just created. So in this case, we have the controller, we have the model, and we have the registration between the controller and the model. So right now you can just start writing your codes inside the controller. I think this is the easiest way. Sometimes some may write the controller function inline with the registration of the model with the controller. So now we are going to use a variable called the $scope. I've explained this before now. So what does $scope do? $scope makes variable available in HTML pages. So if I say, for instance, var first, if I say $scope dot first name equal to kindson. So in my view of the HTML page, I'll be able to see this first name. So let's just do it. Just create a HTML file, a normal HTML file. I'm going to copy from here. And then Control V, and then save it as HTML file. Save it as HTML file. Look for HTML. And this is hypertext markup. I'm going to call it lesson4.html. Okay. Alright, so inside here, I should be able to get the first name variable. Alright, so now I include this. I also need to include the script file containing the definition of the model and the controller. So the name of the script file containing the model and the controller for this is lesson4.js, right? Okay, so at this point, let's go back to look at the script. So we have $scope that first name is equal to kindson. So inside the controller, we've declared a variable, and now this variable will be available in the HTML file. So if I go to open this file, I should be able to see my name or first name written out in the output. So open, ask this later. So refresh. Okay, it doesn't show up. So scope that first name. So let's make sure it's okay. Copy this and paste it here. Control V. I hope everything is okay. So save. So refresh this page. Okay. Okay, so okay, let's just try to troubleshoot. Let me use scripts.js. Okay, so inside scripts.js, I wanted to keep everything simple, so in this case, let me just take out this scope.firstName equal to Kindson. So save, and I'm going to come here and then reload this page. So something is not right in this place. Okay, so meanwhile I'm going to end this class and then we are going to solve it in tutorial 5, but take some time to go through this and make sure you understand how it works. The key thing is understand these 3 steps and also understand what is meant by a model and a controller. I would like to thank you for viewing. Remember, click on the subscribe button to subscribe, and if you have any challenges, leave a comment to let me know and I'll get back to you.